Did you ever imagine that you're gonna be sitting here today, being the minister of a very important portfolio?
You want the truth?
Yes.
I've got a friend of mine, maybe it will have to go and interview her. She always reminds me and tell people that whilst we're busy doing standard 5, I would tell them as they're busy going having fun, that guys, I don't have time to have fun because I must shape your future. I think I like being part of the people who make a difference, and I believe that I can make a difference once I identify my own role. It doesn't matter how small it is.
So, Minister, take me back to, you were raised by, your parents were both pastors, right?
My dad,
dad?
yes.
Okay, and your mom?
Of course, by virtue of her being married to my dad, so that's the village
pastors.
life. There's no democracy. The father is there at church, everybody goes to church.
It must have been, difficult at sometimes because you can't really do anything wrong. You're the pastor's daughter.
Very difficult, trust me. I remember at some point, because I'm a bit of a rebel, I'm sure you know that. No one was in politics, in case you think I followed my brother or sister. So it's just me who happened to fall in love with politics. Of course, once you're in politics, one thing that will lead you there is the issue that you'll be a curious child. So I was one of those that you refer to as Jajarach as I was growing up.
And your siblings?
With the 2 that are late, except myself, I've got my 2 brothers and my younger sister. Out of the 2 brothers that I have, the other one is in prison right now. Yes. For rape case.
How did you react when all of this happened?
I'm not that passionate, unfortunately. So I was like, well, he has raped, can't be paying for lawyers, let him rot in jail. That's me. I'm not that nice where people do wrong. So if you have been caught with wrong, at first, of course, I will sympathize, maybe indeed, as you say, it's not true. But then once I realize becoming a habit, I back off. You've got to face your own music. I'm not party to that. So to me, it's about women first. No man must abuse any woman. So there's no issue of blood where wrong is concerned. That's why they call me Dragon Lady.
Are you a religious person? Is there a strong
I'm
religious?
very religious. Yeah, that's how I live my life, actually.
Is it dad's influence?
Maybe, yeah, maybe it's because of that of home, but it's something now, as I'm saying, my day can't pass by without me talking to my God. I guess because of my experiences and how I grew up and where God has put me now, it has taught me one thing that I always tell people. I hear people saying God loves us all equally, and I'm like, I don't believe that. I think He loves me more than others because of what has been happening in my life, I've been through, and where He has put me. Because at all times, it doesn't matter if I find myself in a fix now, but one thing I know, I call upon Him, and He really comes through for me. So that's who I am. It may be the fact that I grew up like that from home, but that's something that I resonate with well. And that's what I try to teach my children, even if my daughter rebels.
Oh, is it? She's just
She
like,
rebels
Mom.
a lot. I told you she's a
Your
bit
own
of a
medicine.
mom. Yes. She'll be like, Mom, where was God when apartheid was running our people in this country? And I'll be telling her, God was there, but He needed us to learn a lesson. Because at all times we've got to through our hardships and struggles in order to realize His love. And I believe that's why in South Africa we got freedom without killing each other, because of the work of God. He had to prove to the world that it's doable to sit with the people that prosecuted you, the people that killed whoever in your family, but then you are one at the end of the day. And with us, it was just negotiations, and we got our freedom. I think God loves us more.
Life must be hard being always on the run. Not run, always on the road,
I get your
basically.
point.
From here to Cape Town and doing this and in between. And your children are a bit bigger now, so they can look for them out on themselves, right? But husband, he misses you. How tough is that in a relationship?
Trust me, He misses me to a point that at days he feels like, I wish I could have married a teacher who was going to go to class. And he always says, a teacher in Gala. Gala is a small town in my province. Would go to school 8 o'clock if it's 8 o'clock, and after 3, she's home so that I come back to my wife. That's how he goes at times. But of course, he tries to meet me halfway because he does understand and fortunately is supportive of the work. So he tries to follow me around when he can. Of course, with the kids, I'm not there, so he's the one that is there with them full time. So it also helps the balance that whilst I'm working, I don't have to be stressing about what kids are going through, what's happening. As a result, even when they are hungry, even if I'm around, they don't tell mommy, they tell daddy, because they don't spend much time with mommy.
How does it make you feel?
So bad. It makes you feel bad as a parent. No mother wants to miss any step of her child's growing up. There's a need for that personal engagement with your own child, which is something that this job takes away from our families, and nobody gets to notice that. That our husbands, they get to stay without their wives, our children, they don't have parents, because we've got to do good for the country.
Do you regret some of it?
Actually, I don't regret. There's one thing that I've always believed in, that I don't have a purpose only at home. God has sent me a purpose for this country and the world. And then my children, that's one thing I teach them, that you can't have mom to yourselves only. Your mother is the one that must be shared. I go back to the renaming by my parents when they named me Stella. Stella is a Greek word, as you know, if you do. And in English, it means a star. So I always tell them, nobody can monopolize a star. A star has to brighten people's lives. And that's who my parent named me. And there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't choose it, as I'm saying. I was destined for it. I was the youngest, therefore the first of the young people in the country to come to government, besides Thabo Mbeki's government was. Mandela's also had young ones, but now from 2009 we haven't seen any of those. So when I came on board, that's the challenge that I faced. People don't take me serious because they see a little girl in me. If I'm in meetings, come, can you bring water? Can you make a cup of tea? So that's what I was. And you couldn't say no. It doesn't matter if you're going to miss out on the engagements or deliberations of the meeting. You've got to go. It's an elder that's asking you. That's how we were taught. So you're going to go and make tea and come back. And with men, it's worse. All they see is this sexy thing. They don't listen to what you say. They're busy. You can see they want to devour you there. But again, it depends on you, how you want to then make sure that I'm going to own this boardroom. You're not going to be looking at my pretty face. You're going to be listening to what I'm talking about. And fortunately, that's one of the things that God has given me with command. I'm able to command. It's not me, it's God. And that gets to irritate most people about me. Others, they think I'm too arrogant. And I view myself as an assertive person. Because the wrong is the wrong, it doesn't matter who. That's me. If I don't agree with what you're doing, Mr. President, I don't agree. I remember the other day, I came to, I think it was the cabinet committee meeting. I'm wearing my short dresses. When I came, I was slim. I was beautiful, a pretty thing. So I was wearing my 2 centimeters all the time. I like short things. So they would complain about the length of my dresses. You are in government now. And I've always believed I'm not here to conform to your standards. I'm here to transform it. And I'm going to transform it. So, you can't be wearing these things. You are married. And I'll be asking, says who? You must listen to us, we are elders. I'm like, my husband bought this dress. Who do I listen to in this marriage? You or my husband? Now, if you're going to come and tell me how to dress in my own marriage, I wouldn't appreciate that. That's why I don't want people who make nasty comments about how other people are dressed up. You dress up in a way that you feel comfortable in. That's for me.
Do you think that South Africa, we've got the handle on this and, women are respected in the way that they should be respected? Or do you think 2019, we still got a very long road to go?
We still have a long way to go. Not because of men only, but also ourselves. If you get this position, the first thing that we always talk about is capacity. Nobody raises capacity issues when it's a man. But we need to have a mindset, because I don't believe men are trembling on us on their own. They get it from us. Not us as the victims, but from most women. That even if you come to work, It's better if it's a man that says things. If you're a woman saying this, she's bossy, she's this and that, all the names that we give to, and it's women.
And do you think as women, we need to call each other out? Do you think that if there's any lesson for women to learn on Women's Day, you know, how we can
It
guard
can't
the
be
safe
an
space?
event. If we're targeting the Women's Day, we're not going to achieve anything. It has to be our day-to-day life.
Education has always been very close to your heart. Tell us why we're sitting here in a lab.
The main reason we decided to come here was because when I was first appointed in 2011, I had a group of business people who wanted to host a party for me, and I told them I'm not very good in social. So mine was like, guys, how much are you going to spend? When they gave me the budget, can we buy computers for the school? As a village I grew up, I didn't have access to technology. As I grew up, I saw other people, how it advantaged them that they went to schools that had access to technology. Although I have love for technology, but I was like, I imagine another girl who grew up like me, who doesn't have access to technologies. We tend to want to associate technology with an elite. And I believe that technology is here to play a bigger role in terms of bridging the divide and the inequalities in the space that we are in. That's why I always tell people, one thing I love about the internet is that we're all equal. Doesn't matter you're black, you're white, you are in Limpopo, you are in Sentin, you are in Kenya, we're all equal as cyber citizens. I mean, like we've produced Nelson Mandela, we've produced Elon Musk. We want others for our lifetime now. We want a new story that must be associated with other people. We've got to talk about the heroes of today that we should have produced. And the only way to do that in the fourth industrial revolution, the best way is to provide kids with all the resources that they can have access to.